You know, we put the question out today, is it time to end heading in youth soccer? And if you still want to weigh in, you can text us at 206-448-4545. Those of you newer to the sport, heading is the term for when a soccer player hits the ball with their head. Now, this question is in response to some research that came out. It was out of Albert Einstein College of Medicine in New York, and that is the focus of today's Deep Dive. It's a segment here on the show where we just dive a little deeper into a news headline, a topic, or issue. The main takeaway from this study is that we should be just as concerned about heading as we are about collisions, if not more so. The research here revealed that players who did the most heading had worse brain function than those who had impact because of collisions. Now, here are the main things to know about this. There were 308 amateur adult players, mostly men, studied for 2 weeks. They had to report headings and collisions and then take several neuropsychological tests. The ones with the most number of headings scored worse on verbal learning, verbal memory, and attention. And it's important to note these were adult studies, but let's face it, thousands of young people in our area play soccer and their brains are still developing. And as a parent of one, this had me questioning, is this the right sport for her? Should I prevent her from doing this? So today we tracked down the lead scientist on this research to get his bottom line on whether this is yet more evidence that we need to end this practice of heading. And here's what he had to say.
It's only the people with the most extreme amount of heading who have the risk for cognitive impairment. There's some amount of heading that's likely safe for most people.
Dr. Lipton says we always focus on concussions, but repeatedly using your head can be just as dangerous long term, and you don't have the obvious symptoms that you may have if you have a concussion. The answer, he says, is to figure out how much heading is safe, and the same way that baseball has figured out how many pitches a player can throw until they need to rest. So while we wait to find out more, the Washington Youth Soccer Association says their rules follow the national standards, which means no heading for kids 10 and younger. And do you know how we got those initial rules? It was parents who actually sued U.S. Youth Soccer and says you guys are being negligent. And that's how those rules about 10 and younger came about. Good. So we get more research and see that we don't like where it's going. Parents can always push some more.
It's good information. You know, you always hear folks talking about football, right?
Yeah.
Football this, football that, head collisions, but you don't think about other sports. Soccer's a big one.
Original football.
Right, the original football.
Right.
Yeah. And I know that we've been hearing a lot more stories about cheerleaders too, coming and taking tumbles. So I think every sport, you got to have people like this who are just like, hey, is this good for our kids? That's the important thing, because when you get into the actual specifics of the sport itself for adults, then people go crazy. No, you can't get rid of heading. This is a tradition. Yeah. But for kids, which is a key point that you pointed out, is very, very important.
Yeah.
You know what? I was just thinking, because kids play so much earlier and longer, and then they also do like traveling teams, you know, that repetitive action is not good. I mean, I'm not saying just the heading part, but there's so many injuries that young kids are getting now.
Oh, yeah.
So totally.
You know, my daughter plays about probably 3 to 4 times a week. Yeah, and it's year round. There's no break. It's sad.
That's why I keep my girls at home wrapped in bubble wrap.
Good idea. Shelter them, man.
And he really does.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.